Well, hi there, boys and girls. Today is a really exciting video because this is the absolute last derivative that you have to memorize. After this, we're going to do some integration. We'll go on to some other topics, but this is the absolute last thing, the last derivative that you're going to learn. So, it's sort of exciting. So here we go. We are going to do the derivative of arc sine, arc cosine, and arc tangent. So we're going to start with arc sine of x. Now, sometimes arc sine is written in this form. Also, arc sine could be written as ARC and then SIN. It can be written like this as well. You're going to see these in the same, well, they'll be used interchangeably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and write this as y equals arc sine of x, and I'm going to convert this back into an equivalent statement. That equivalent statement would say that the sine of y is equal to x. The reason I'm going to convert it into this statement is because we can take the derivative of sine of anything. So I've converted it into this notation, or this form, I guess, and I'm going to take the derivative of both sides. So let's do that real quick. Let's take the derivative of all of this. Okay, so what is the derivative of sine of anything? Well, the derivative of sine of anything is cosine of that thing and then times y prime, or the derivative of whatever that angle is. Cosine y times y prime. Now on the other side, the derivative of x, well, that's just 1. Now I'm trying to solve this for y prime, so I'll just go ahead and divide both sides by cosine, and I will get that y prime is equal to 1 divided by cosine of y. Now this is not very helpful for me because I don't want y's over here in my derivative. So I'm going to have to take a look at this picture real quick. Let's see if we can't draw this picture. I'm going to come over here and draw a little triangle. Let's draw a triangle out this way. Oh, actually I wanted that turned around, but I guess that'll work right there. Okay, so we're going to put our angle right here. This is y. And we know that the sine of y is x over 1. And you also know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that's an x, and this is a 1. Now, it says that y prime is 1 divided by the cosine of this angle. Well, the cosine of this angle, I need the adjacent side for the cosine. So if you do the Pythagorean theorem, x squared plus this adjacent side squared equals 1 squared, and then you subtract, you get that this missing side is the square root of 1 minus x squared from the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so that means that the cosine of this angle would be adjacent over hypotenuse. So I'm going to replace adjacent over hypotenuse with the cosine of y, and you get your arc sine derivative in terms of x. So the derivative arc sine is 1 divided by the square root of 1 minus x squared. That's sort of a weird little derivative, but again, you know, take heart because this is like the last thing you have to memorize for derivatives. Now I'm going to generalize this as well. I'm going to make this if y equals the arc sine of u, where u is any function of x, arc sine of u, then y prime is going to equal 1 divided by the square root of 1 minus u squared. And then what do you think we're going to have to do here? We're going to have to follow this up with the chain rule. So we're going to multiply that times u prime. And a lot of times that u prime is just going to sit here instead of this 1. So let's go ahead and write it like that. Let me get my eraser and make that happen. Back here to the pen. So we're just going to put the u prime right on top. So that's what you'll need in case of the chain rule is needed. All right, the other two derivatives that you need to know are arc cosine and arc tangent, and I'm just going to give those to you. You can develop them the way we just developed the last one, but I'm just going to tell you so we can keep this video short and sweet. The derivative of, my pen is being weird here, being really slow. The derivative of arc cosine of u. I'll just go ahead and make it where we have the chain rule. This is going to be negative u prime. That's sort of neat because that's sticking with the motif that the derivative of any trig function that starts with c is negative. I sort of like that. Divided by the square root of 1 minus u squared. So it's the only difference between arc cosine and arc sine is that there's a negative on the u prime on top. And the last fact is the derivative of arc tan. The derivative of arc tan of u is u prime over, wow, that's a great big fraction. We'll make it even worse. 1 plus u squared. So there's your derivative of arc tan and arc cosine and arc sine, and those are the last things that you have to memorize for derivatives. So I will see you guys tomorrow.